Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple.
Welcome, folks, to episode 1 of the Bart Bros Podcast, brought to you by RCJB. I'm the C, that's the R.
Welcome, guys. Excited to kick this off.
We've been working on this, thinking about this for a very, very long time. The moment came into play for us to finally take action. Super excited about what we're going to bring you here. Richard, tell me a little bit about who this podcast is intended for.
Well, this has been years in the making. So basically, guys, now you're going to get to hang out with us and all the hour-long phone calls that we have all day about all the different fun and exciting things that are going on. So you'll be along for the ride. This course is for anybody. This is for everybody, that either wants to look at it as a reality TV show, like we've kicked around in our head. We can make a book, 101 Reasons Why This Hasn't Closed, because of all the different things that happens to us.
And it's ongoing, chapter after chapter.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there'll always be something different to laugh at and enjoy. Also, obviously, for anyone that wants to get into the industry, whether you want to start off as a wholesaler, an investor, whatever it is, we're here to provide value and also entertain, because they're also why you're going to want to hang out with us.
When you watch us and you follow us, if you've seen a little bit of us on IG, we're all about providing value. That's what we want to bring. So we want to peel back the curtain and show you much more than the sold, under contract, because that's boring. Anybody can show that. But we're going to show you exactly the emails we'll deal with, the back and forth, the ridiculousness, the squatters, the hoarders, the caskets, the traveling that happened, the traveling that didn't happen to close the deal. You're going to hear it all from us.
Oh, yeah. And every deal has a story. We used to have an IG post that we would put up regularly. Realtors say the darndest things. This industry is just so dynamic, and there's just so much out there to share.
Yeah, that's
looking forward.
By far, the best word to describe this is dynamic. And that's the goal that we plan to bring to you, so you see how truly the dynamic things that you're going to see from people day in and day out.
All right, guys. So let's go get this started.
Let's hit it off with how we started. We started with doing one flip by myself with one realtor. And from that one flip where we started focusing on exclusively fixing and flipping, talk to us about how we transitioned into wholesaling.
I always explain this to people. Flipping is easier than what we do, because as a flipper, you can just essentially sit there as an alligator and you're going to have people funneling you deals. It's not that hard. But after flipping consistently, probably for about
5.5 years.
5.5 years or so, carrying on and managing multiple projects, around that time, we said, hey, let's figure out how to source our own. So we figured out how to source our own. We realized is, hey, we can't buy everything, and we don't want to buy everything. So let's start wholesaling some of these properties. That grew. We were blessed. And it just began to grow and grow and grow, where, we realized together, it's like, wait a minute, this is actually a business. I always tell everyone flipping is a job. This is a business. So we transitioned to that about 2 or 3 years ago, I would probably say.
Right around COVID-ish times.
Yeah, we transitioned fully to that. We grew our team, our systems, and our staff, where basically that is what we do.
I think one of the coolest things that we do now is, like, you and I go back and forth, and it's like, what did we get in a contract? Which one is that? Because that's what happens when you have a system and you have a team that we've been blessed to build, that we provide the underwriting, we provide them the tools of the trade of how to figure out what's a deal, what's not a deal, and they'll bring us an executed contract because they know exactly our parameters and what we look for.
The first time that happened, that's when I actually told myself, wow, this is a business. I've never even spoken to this realtor. I know nothing about this deal. All I know is that it fell in the box.
Yeah.
And that's the best. And like you just said, when you have that, oh, we got this, we got that. Oh, wow, cool. I didn't even know that.
But that takes time.
That takes time.
It takes a long time to not only be able to build the systems, to know how to underwrite, how to have other people do it for you. But most importantly than that, I would say it takes time to let go, where you have to kind of have a mental shift where it's let me work on my business, not in my business. And like you said, when you're doing flips, describe a weekend.
Oh, no, when you're doing flips, you're an employee to your own business. You're in the business. You're either always fighting with your general contractor, the subs, the landscaper didn't show up. And, my favorite used to be there were times where we just mixed, we mixed the plumber, the electrician, and the kitchen guy to cut a few corners and save a couple of bucks, and just the phone calls of them, the infighting amongst each other.
It's like they're like teenage girls. They all like to blame each other.
They blame each other.
The next time you see a nice contractor say something about the other contractor is going to be the first.
That would be the first, because one of my favorites was, well, why is the kitchen cabinet all wrong? It was the plumber's fault. No, that's the plumber. What's going on? Oh, it was the drywall guy. So, that's the life of a flipper.
So again, that's the goal. When you watch us, when you follow us, that's the value that you're going to bring. We're going to try our best to prevent you from having that headache with the contractor. We're going to try to put our best foot forward to avoid you having to pay your contractor all in advance because you don't know any better. And now you have a half job kitchen, but you've paid them fully out. It happens. Don't let it happen to you.
That's the cool part about how we've done this, and our journey is that we have both perspectives, as a flipper and as a wholesaler. So we've seen everything on both sides. So whenever we're working on a deal, especially with the new investor, we can coach them through it and say, look, these are the numbers, this is your margin, and this is how you can stay within your margins. And like Chris said, is you always want to stay ahead of your contractors. That's like a big rule for us when we were doing it. Every day was, if the contractor abandons the job now, am I still going to win? Am I good? I can replace him? Perfect. The moment he gets ahead of you, that's when you have an issue.
Yeah, that's when you always have an issue. Now that you mentioned when you're doing the flip, now it's a part of the hardest things to figure out is it's not your house. It's not your house. You can figure out early beginnings of 1370 where I would find projects, I send them over to you. And when you're first getting into this, these things are impressionable. We're going to share with you some pictures of our befores and afters because we also do have that. But you see some properties, you're just like, whoa, what do we do here?
Yeah, I'm going to be so excited about that. We're going to go over all our projects because every single project has a story, has an acquisition, it has a middle, and then it always has an end. And nothing ever goes smoothly.
You really, truly hope after the final end, there's not another end. Unless that other end is another deal. You don't want other old deals to come back and haunt you. That's the worst. It also happens to us. So we're going to tell you exactly what are the things you can do to prevent from being put yourself in that position.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different angles to this business. No two deals are ever the same, but something that we have learned is you do begin to see the same patterns and the same situations. So many times when a deal is brought to us or we begin to negotiate, we'll know within the first 30 seconds of, oh, no, we don't want to work with this realtor.
Yeah, it's a key thing.
That's it. Like, they'll set off red algos. Like, no, we're move on.
Like, I'm a firm believer. And when somebody starts with, I've been doing this for 25 years, buddy, I don't really care what you've been doing for 25 years. One of the key things that I like to go over is being humble. It goes back to mindset, which we're also going to go deep into on this podcast, where I want you guys to truly understand. If you've never done this before, or if you have, you could probably relate to the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So when it goes to people, puffing their chest, saying, I've done this, I've done that, at the very beginning, I understand this might be a difficult transaction. And honestly, many a times, we might think twice if we're actually going to want to work with that.
Yeah, no, we'll move on. I mean, when a conversation starts with, like you said, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't think we've ever had a good transaction.
It's rare.
With someone that has started off the intro with that. And when you're doing this, we tell this to our whole team, is you're marrying this person on the other side for 30, maybe 45 days. Do you want to do that song and dance?
Yep.
Do you want to consume your energy with someone that is going to take all your energy and not leave you room for other deals? And we know. I mean, there's a lot of deals where, like I said, they're brought to us and we'll just say, no, we're not going to work with them. And sometimes our team doesn't understand. But guys, listen, I'm covering for you. You don't want to deal with this person for the next 30 days. Listen to us. Yeah. It's not going to be worth it. And, mindset, like, this is all about mindset. If you're not right here, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about entrepreneurship. Forget about specifically about this.
We've seen it firsthand.
Oh, we've seen it firsthand.
We see it firsthand, where it's like we come across people that want to work with us and they have the scripts down. They have knowing how to underwrite a deal down. They know how to talk to you. Those pretty talk to you so you're pink in the face. But things just don't make sense. And when we kind of go back to it, it's all about mindset. So without the right mindset, you can know everything. You can have all the sources, even all the capital in the world, but it's just not going to get you anywhere.
Because this industry just has so many, unknowns, things that don't make sense. There's times where we've gotten deals that we thought are grand slams, but nobody agrees with us.
Yep.
And then I always say my favorite is when we tell ourselves, man, somebody bought that. Wow. Okay, cool. But we always like to backtrace our deals to see how it went. And it's really cool when we see like, wow, look, this person bought this because they had a vision that we didn't even see.
Exactly. Yeah.
And look at their exit. And that's something that we need to be more focused on sharing with that, because we tell everyone, bro, all our deals make sense. You're not going to become a millionaire off one deal, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
And to that point, I think one of the key things that you learn in sales is never spend with somebody else's pocket. So the more we do this, the more we've come to find out is that every buyer has a different end game. They have a different goal. So we just can't assume because of XYZ reason, no, it's not a deal, shut it off. Give yourself a shot.
Of course, because that was actually one of our limiting beliefs when we first started is
Amen to that.
We would underwrite to our criteria. You're not going to succeed in this business if you operate like that. You don't know what the other person's goal or end game is. I mean, just one that we closed a couple of days ago didn't look like the best deal to me on paper, but it's funny, when I went to the HOA to just try to wrap everything up there, I'm sitting there and the lady asked me, which one are you here for? Like, what are you talking about? Oh, you're buying 3. Okay. I didn't know that, but we come to find out that our buyer was buying 3. And that's why he paid a premium for ours, because to him, it was worth more.
Exactly.
Because I don't know what he's doing in that community, but he seems to be buying everything up.
Now I'm going to give you a small little action-taking step there, and that thing, something that will apply, something that you should apply, is now that we know that this gentleman has bought 3 in that same subdivision, what are we going to do?
Oh, now we're going to focus on the subdivision.
Now we're going to focus on the subdivision. Now we're going to farm that subdivision. Now we're going to look for actives. We're going to look for cancels, because we know that somebody has a pocket that's burning to spend in that area. So it's up to us to take action and apply something to it.
I think, the 2 biggest things for success in this industry and probably any other industry is networking and data. Those are the 2 biggest things, because you can't do this by yourself.
No.
And that's why who you are and your ethics are very important, because Miami is this big, but yet this industry is so small.
It's super, super small.
It's crazy. But that, and you combine that with solid data, which is basically being organized and keeping all this data where you can easily execute on whatever it is that they're looking for, whatever it may be. And once you have that network, that's how you really take off.
Yeah, one of the key things that you want to avoid in this business is paralysis by analysis. Too often I see people that they can read to you a contract A to Z, and then you ask them, well, have you used any of this? I'm still looking. I mean, they're still going to be looking. We're a firm believer in take action. Imperfect plan executed 10 times at 60% is 100% better than the perfectly planned that's never executed. That you mentioned there, taking action, applying data. Again, we'll give you another real life tidbit so you can see what we bring to the table. Let's talk about, property off 73rd Street. That's where we found our buyer that we've sold him now at least 45, 50 properties over the past 2.5 years. That this was a property that him and I went to. And he specifically said, he goes, who the heck bought this? Property was in a choice neighborhood, small lot, I believe it was frame house.
Yeah.
The backyard, it was the view was like a 20-unit abandoned building. And we told ourselves, well, who bought this? Lo and behold, I just simply place a reminder on my phone, look up in about 2.5, 3 months once public records updates on that transaction, who bought it. Well, we find who bought it, decide to research the buyer. I think we all know how to go on Property Appraiser, search by buyer's name. Guess what? I see the gentleman has about 17 properties in Miami-Dade, 10 properties in Broward. So now that you have this information, what do you do with it? Do you just sit on it? Do you just wait? No, you pick up the phone, you call the guy, you find that his criteria, and you fast forward about like 4 or 5 years later, we've done at least now more than 50, 60 deals just by that one little step. So that's the beauty of this game, that in this game, we're both huge fans of that. Your whole life can change off one phone call.
Oh, yeah.
One phone call, one email, one text. You just never know when it's going to change. But the key thing is keep going.
And, you know, the mindset thing is something that we've learned. And it's not easy. I remember when we went to that property and, you know, it's like it was pretty far.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I've eliminated the phrase of I wasted my time. Why did I do this? Why did I come over here? What a waste of time. And when you have that mental shift, that's when you really begin to see that, well, nothing is a waste of time. We were meant to be at that property on that day because of what it led to.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think the property was very good at all. But actually that led us to creating the who the hell bought this list.
Who the hell bought this? Yeah. So
which is an actual list that we have.
yes, it exists.
And that led us to then finding that buyer.
And again, it goes back to mindset. You notice that there where too many times, and again, we've heard this, I'm wasting my time. That's one of the sayings that makes my hair stand up that I don't have. You know, when I hear I'm wasting time, no, you're not, buddy. You're throwing your energy out there. You're learning the rules of the game. While you're out there, who says you're not going to find a for sale by owner, which has happened to us.
Oh, yeah.
It's happened to us. Who says you're not going to find a for rent sign that you call and look, that happens to be a buyer. You never know. But when you have the limiting belief mindset of it's a waste of time, why am I going to do that? What's in it for me? I need a paycheck in the next 30 days. This isn't the business for you. And we're probably not the podcast for you unless you just want to be entertained.
No,
which we'll do too.
Yeah, we'll try. Back, you know, to the mindset of like, I'm just wasting my time. That's a big no-no for us. And that's something that as our team has grown, we want good energy. I think anybody and everybody wants good energy. You don't want to surround yourself with people that are going to suck your energy out and just be consistently, you know, with the negativity. Life is too short for that.
Yep.
And there's so little that we control. So I don't want to hear that it was a waste of time. Why did I do this or whatever? But you really need to believe it and embrace it. You know, one of the stories that I really like to share a lot is we had a flip in Pompano Beach. And I remember it was on a Sunday. The last thing I wanted to do was drive an hour and 10 minutes.
But you got to do it.
Go see that property. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, it was basically literally to just do the final walkthrough before it went live. I made sure it was clean, made sure all the little smelly things were in. We'll go into that as we continue this podcast on the small details to make sure your initial flip presentation is on point, because you only get one shot to make a first impression.
Yeah, we've screwed that up too, so we'll let you know.
Yeah, that's how we learned. So that's why I drove an hour and 10 minutes to personally sweep, mop, clean, and made sure the house smelled like gold and it was homey, but whatever. So I remember I didn't want to go there. And I told myself, believing in full faith, saying something good is going to come out of this. Something good is going to come out of this. And I believed and drove myself an hour and 10 minutes over there, took a video, posted it on IG. 6, 7 o'clock, we get sent a deal. Hey, I have a deal in Pompano Beach for you.
Yep.
All right, cool. That same night, we got the property, we found a buyer, and that was a very juicy assignment.
I don't think we even blasted
We
that.
didn't blast it.
I think we sent it to a handful of people and it moved. And it was a chunky assignment. And why did that happen? It wasn't just because somebody found us. No. You have to be a firm, big picture thinker and understand that all of your steps are leading to something greater than you ever imagined.
I guarantee you, if I would have driven there grumpy, angry, hating life,
That's what you were going to get.
that wasn't going to happen.
Nope.
Because that's exactly what I put out there. So if I put that out there, well, that's exactly what I'm going to get back.
Congratulations. You know, I'm a firm believer in if that's what you're going to focus on. Hey, man, listen, there's no scorecard when you go to the next place that says, I was right. You get nothing from that. And I'm a firm believer. And in this industry and in life in general, I would rather be delusionally happy than unrealistically miserable. And that's the kind of mindset that you really need to have as you're embracing this. You know, you really need to learn to embrace not just the end, but literally the middle, because that's where all the fun happens. And that's what we're going to share with you.
Every deal is a living organism. And, you know, you can do everything that you're supposed to do, meaning the hustle to lock up the deal, the hustle to sell the deal, everything. And then, you know, I'm the one that deals with that when I'll get that wonderful call from title saying, hey, we have this lien
What do we do now?
We need this affidavit. We need this POA. And it's like, okay. So, it could be frustrating, but it's like, you got to keep your head up.
You have to.
And you say, all right, let's go. So what's the issue? So like, one of my things is when I get calls and they tell me, Richard, we have a problem. No, we don't. We don't have any problems. You alive? You're healthy? You're good? Oh, we don't have a problem.
That's it.
So I'm going to bring you solutions. So what do we got? And that's the shift. Because if you don't have that, you're going to be miserable. So whatever, don't get me, this business does pay well, but he'll be miserable.
I mean, this really goes to show you that in life, you get compensated for providing value to others. And the value that wholesalers and people in this industry that do this end of the work to find the deal for the end users, for the investors, for the flippers, this is where it's at. Because this will test you. This will test you.
It will test you. Oh, no, that's for sure. But it's going to get done, guys. And again, I want you to understand there's so little that you control. And as long as you do your part, that's it. It's going to get done.
That's it.
And let it go. But we're, can't wait to start breaking down deal by deal, the trips that you did to Ohio.
Yeah. I mean,
the trip we almost did to Haiti.
Almost was sent to Haiti. But I went to Ohio. Went to Ohio to be a pallbearer and carry a casket to make sure a deal closed. But that's what you got to do. And these are not the things that you're not going to read any book. You're not going to read any YouTube course. So that's what you're going to learn from us.
I'm going to love when we do the podcast on that deal because that was one that everybody in Miami knew about. Everybody knew who these sellers were. But this is what experience teaches you, though. I remember when we were discussing this deal and you were telling me how it was going with the two ladies. But then you met the family. And my words were, you're going to close this deal by winning over the family.
That's exactly what happened.
Not by winning over the actual sellers. You got to win over the family. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, we were blessed, they put us on our path and we were able to win them over. They ended up driving in an RV all the way down from Ohio to come pick them up. But that's just what this business is about. And it's not necessarily about winning them. It is about winning them over, but it's not about schmoozing them and knowing a pretty verbiage and pretty contracts. It's not about that. It goes way deeper and way more beyond that.
I would probably tell you that my favorite thing about what we do is, and I don't think this is spoken about enough, but how many people have we helped?
It's a domino effect. I'm glad he mentions that because that's one of the most beautiful things about this business is that one phone call, one text, one email, think about the series of dominoes that get set off. And not just from what you can see, it's from what you can't see. It's you don't know whose issues did you solve. You don't know who did you put through college, what business did you open, what medical bills did you clear. And that's the beautiful thing about this business. It's just a domino effect that happens.
One of the coolest things is when we close and we'll get a thank you from a listing agent, maybe from the seller themselves, because we got done what others couldn't get done. Or just sometimes to make it black and white is the property sat there on the MLS for almost a year and nothing happened. And it's not because we're rocket scientists, but we have something that works and it provides value. Yeah. Everybody wins. And that's the one thing about this industry, because let's be real, it does sometimes have a negative stigma, but I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. We have provided so much value, and the amount of people that we have helped and blessed along the way. I don't think we've ever had a seller get upset.
No.
They have say, oh my God, you did what? You made what? No. They got what they were looking for. They were able to move on to the next chapter of their life. Remember when we sold the realtor's house that her grandma lived in?
Yes.
We'll do that one.
Little Havana duplex.
The little Havana duplex, the one in the corner. And they were so genuinely grateful because they couldn't sell that property. And something that I share repeatedly as I tell people is the real movers, the real investors, they're not sitting there looking on the MLS. They're out there working on their business. So I'll laugh at the amount of times that we'll move a property that's been on the MLS for God knows how long. And when we get it, and when we start doing what we do, and we get multiple offers.
Yesterday, the one in the frame. The one, this was been listed for more than 90 days. We got it in a contract over the weekend, and we sold it yesterday.
That property wasn't even blasted.
It wasn't even blasted. It went to a handful of people.
That's it.
And again, That goes back to, what we provide, the value that we share as to how we do these things. How do we find these buyers? How do we carry these conversations? How do we market these properties?
That's the biggest thing. This is a people business. You typically are almost always going to work with people that you like and you have a certain level of trust. So, just be transparent. It is what it is. Obviously, we're all here to make a buck. We want to get paid. The end buyer wants to get paid. We get that. We're not doing this for charity. But that's basically, how this business operates. And the value that we have been blessed to be able to share with others, it can't be bought. It's not in a book. And I'm going to be really excited to share it with everyone because we only learn by doing this ourselves.
Our goal is after you listen to us, we're going to build for you a foundation that you're going to be able to convey people that trust, and you're going to have confidence to know that you're delivering a message. You're truly, truly providing somebody value.
That's what it's going to be at. That's basically where it is.
All right, what I want to go over here now is let's show the people out there. Let's talk about our first fix and flip, our first big boy that we ever did. I'm going to go over, it was a property up in North Miami Beach, 4.2, 1,700 square feet, had a pool, had a garage, really nice, really, really nice property. We actually found that one from a guy. I had just finished working T-Mobile, and I was in touch with the realtor. This realtor had connection with somebody who did work from the auction. So you make a pretty little spreadsheet with these pretty little estimates that, looking back on it, make absolutely zero sense. But it's okay. Learn from us. The good things, not the bad things. And in this particular case, he had presented to us something along the lines of, I believe it was purchase price was about $185, and purchase price was $185. He forecasted about $15 a square foot in rehab, which even then made absolutely no sense. But we were itching. Our pocket was burning to spend. We wanted to buy something. So the day came. He said, look, we can get into this for $175. Great. Sounds good. I don't know anything, but I'm going to do it. And so I pretty much, that next day, I believe I wired $185,000 total.
I was in Orlando. I remember that.
All via, the whole property was purchased via WhatsApp. Everything was done on my phone. But what happens next?
All right. So this was, like you said, our first deal. It was a foreclosure auction. So we were introduced to someone that was his niche. He would basically go to the auction website, run the numbers, do a preliminary title, lien search, run comps, and that's what he did. And that was his service. He would basically bid for you at the auction and bring you these deals. We knew nothing. We knew absolutely nothing, which I'm going to take a step back and say it's really important to surround yourself with not one person to guide you. You need a team.
You need a team.
Because what I'm going to share now, the story could have gone really bad. So, all right, we were, like you said, itching to go. Let's go. So I think he said it was $175. How much did we buy it for? Like
$185 plus his fee. It was with his fee included.
Okay,
so
$185 plus his fee. We were so excited. This was back in 2015? 2015. And on his spreadsheet, his ARV was $240. I still remember that number. Mm-hmm. So we bought at $185 to sell at $240 for a property that we never even saw inside.
Never.
Like,
please, folks, if there's one thing that you learn from this is I beg you, do not do that to yourself.
Don't do that.
Please take our experiences and make it your lessons to turn you into blessings. Please don't do that.
So we bought that. We were so excited. Again, I mean, look at the numbers. Acquisition $185 to sell at $240, not including commissions or closing costs.
Not ever seeing the property
at that time of sale. So we went ahead and did it. And that, it's actually a really good story, but I would never recommend anybody to buy a foreclosure auction. I don't think there's a need to. There's plenty other deals available out there where you can get a legit title policy. You can run a lien search. You have some kind of protection. If something is wrong, you have no recourse.
It's all on you.
It's all on you. So I don't, when I get those calls, I go, there's no need for that. There's plenty of other better deals out there. The foreclosure auction is very sexy and trendy. The international investors love it because they think that's the best place to get deals. So those deals are always bid up. We have never even looked at another foreclosure auction ever again. Okay, so you send that wire. We're excited. We're owners of the property. The following day, we're told, lady filed bankruptcy. Like, wait, what does that mean? We don't know. Were you?
know.
Okay, can I go see it now? I think that was the first thing that we said. And I think you went to see it, but you didn't get in. You drove.
No, I drove by the outside. I saw the condition on it, and then we just ended up like, oh, this is our next flip. Yay.
Okay, yay. So what do we do next, guys? I mean, we're like, okay, come on, can we start? No, she filed bankruptcy. What does this even mean?
Yeah, at this point, I believe we're like in September of 2015.
So a month passed by, 2 months passed by, and, the homeowner is trying to, fight the sale. Again, we still don't know what's going on. We're literally calling every day for updates. Like, so when do I get the key or whatever? So we were beginning to get a little frustrated. And then I think we decided, you know what, forget it. We just want our money back.
Give her money back.
Give her money back. And I'm going to go back again to the importance of surrounding yourself with a team. There is no need to do this on your own. There is plenty, people were all more than willing to work with anyone, to partner with you guys, we'll work with you guys.
You bring the right energy to us, bring the right, you bring the right outlook, the right perspective. We'll make something happen.
We believe in paying it forward.
Amen.
We were very blessed early in our careers. There's so many stories that we can share of people that took us by the hand and the value they provided to us. We are eternally grateful for it. So that is ours now to give back. So I'm sitting there one night. That's when I was at Publix. And I said, let me just Google this address.
Yeah, we had no MLS back then.
We had no MLS. None of us were realtors. We had one realtor. One realtor. So I Googled the address. I'm like, damn. Wait, I see something that closed for 303. Oh, hold on a second. This is different now because again, we thought the ARV was 240. So we forward over the address to our one realtor. He ran the comps. The following day, he confirmed, "Hey guys, this is worth 303." Okay, now we're talking about it. Now we
want the property.
Yeah. So now in 2015, buying for 185 to sell for 303, back when rehab costs were much more manageable. Now you're looking at a good spread. So now, okay, we're going to fight for the property. So I made the call that morning, told, hey, go fight for the property. Okay. We won. We got, did not get possession.
No, we did not.
No. But we were just, okay, guys, correct. Congrats. Now you own the property. All right, cool. When do we start?
Not so easy.
No. Homeowner does not want to leave. What do you mean? What do we do? No. Oh, crap. She doesn't want to leave. Okay. So we went there. We negotiated with her. Very nice lady. Tried, to offer her something. We'll help you move. We'll relocate you, whatever.
What was her reasoning for not thinking she's responsible for the debt?
Actually, that was very interesting. Her argument, which I looked it up on the docket, was, it's pretty funny. She says that there was never actually an exchange of money. It was just decimal points and numbers on a screen.
Yeah, she insisted on that.
Conceptually, it's actually kind of an interesting, concept. But that was her argument. I don't even think she had a lawyer, but she extended it until she could. We tried to help her. There was nothing that we can do. So I think that was our first ever. We had to, do an eviction. And that ran us into what?
We pushed it all the way till May of 2016.
Guys,
we didn't get possession.
So, bought a property in October and we did not gain possession till May.
That was our first flip.
But though, we never got discouraged.
Nope.
We never got
discouraged.
We never at one point said, this sucks. This doesn't work for us. We're going to go do something else. I actually think we embraced the process.
We did.
Because I learned where the eviction court or office is in downtown because I think I went down there myself.
Remember the lawyer we met there?
Oh, that's a whole other story.
We'll go over that one. Let me write this one down.
That was a funny story when we put two and two together. When we found out who the realtor, the attorney was that was doing the eviction and representing us. So, I'm always I get involved because I have a philosophy that if it could be an attorney, a title company, whoever it is, you're just a number on their list. You got to respect that. They have many other clients, all of equal importance. Some might stand out more than others, but to you and I, we're the most important client. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I get it. And I don't expect people to drop what they're doing and just go running for us. No. We're not like that at all. But all right, cool. I'll do it myself. What do I got to do? I have to go here to go get a writ? All right, cool. I'm going to get there, get the writ, got that expedited, got that filed. Okay, boom. Got the eviction, moving. Do you remember what happened then? The day of eviction, try number one.
We show up there, the police, and she just doesn't want to go.
Yeah, we show up there. The police are already there. Okay, let's go. And then somebody shows up with some kind of court order.
Yep.
Eviction stopped. Okay, mind you, we worked for this capital. Now it's just sitting there in a house. It's not doing anything. Okay, fine.
We thought we were in the clear. We thought we were getting ready to work.
Okay, so now we go on to, take 2. So then we had another wait for another 2 weeks. And then the judge looked at this motion. Obviously, he threw it away. But this was funny, though. And the recordation of the judge's judgment, they recorded them incorrectly. So the one that was final was recorded. Then the one where the guy showed up at 4 or something, it was in the wrong chronological order. So that had to be explained. I had to remember get the police officers to open it up on their phone and understand what it was. So then 2 weeks later, it's finally done, and we're able to get possession of the property.
Finally, we get to work.
7 months.
7 months.
So imagine sitting on a property for 7 months that you cannot touch.
Yep. And then eventually we got to work. Rehab-wise, I would probably... Did they steal the appliances there, if I remember correctly?
No, that was another one.
Oh, okay. So rehab-wise, I'd probably say that was one of our smoothest rehabs that we've been through.
Oh, yeah, that was a smooth rehab. The property was actually not in bad shape. That was a pretty standard, what I call cosmetic rehab, which is just basically take out and put in. There was no reconfiguration, no need for anything like that. That one went actually pretty smooth. Now that you said appliances, though, I remember that in my excitement to get things going, the first thing I did was buy the appliances.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
You don't want to do that.
So I literally had the appliances sitting in the middle of the house while they were working around it just because I wanted to move things along and I wanted to feel like I did something. So...
Yeah, he mentioned speed is great. Don't get me wrong. We're definitely a big proponent of speed. But the more you learn this, you kind of have to know when you need to brake, when you need to put your foot on the brake, and when you need to hit the gas.
You don't need to run at 120 miles per hour. No. That's not necessary. That's actually counterproductive. That's my daily struggle. And that was me buying appliances like day 5 into a flip, which absolutely made no sense.
But we learn. And we hope you learn as well from us. So at that point, we have... Our team is what? One guy?
One guy. One guy, may he rest in peace. He has since passed. And then I think I remember I brought a tile guy in because I was able to gauge that if I depend on one person, we're never going to finish this flip.
Right. Yeah. We came to that understanding. But finishes came out nice.
The house came out very nice.
We ended up listing it. We think we have it sold. Then what happens the day of closing?
Okay, so that one actually never hit the market.
Never hit the market.
That one, while we were working on it, we found the house was a beautiful house. We found a buyer, gave us full ask. How much did we sell for? 340?
330. Oh, 340, yeah.
340, yeah. So we ended up selling that one for 340. So
comps went up again.
The comps went up again.
Now we're already going into the beginning of 2017. Yes.
Wow. So it was almost a 2-year project.
Correct. End of 2015 to 2017.
Correct. 7 months just lost because of the whole foreclosure auction thing, which is why I don't recommend it. I don't think it's needed to get good deals. You can get better deals elsewhere. So I think it was like the day of closing.
The day of closing. Now, mind you, this is about more than a year in. Funds are starting to get tight, just so we share that out there because, we put all that funds into that one deal, into that one basket. Don't do that. Be smarter than that. We have sources for that, please. But so the day of closing, we figure out, ain't closing.
Yeah, the gentleman had missed a payment or something like that, and he basically no longer qualified for the loan.
Nope.
So imagine this whole story, and we're at the finish line and then getting the call saying, hey, it's not closing. Yeah. So that's how this business tests you, and that's how life tests you.
Now that happens every day. Now we're used to, well, I ain't closing today, I might close next week, I might close the day after. Who knows? But you have to learn to embrace it. You have to learn to accept that the day on the calendar is just a day on a calendar.
You can't let your life be dictated by that, by closings.
So eventually we sold it, thankfully. Yes. He found a buyer relatively quickly.
No, same buyer. He
guy.
went and applied at his credit union, and they approved them. And I think we closed 3 weeks later for 340, successful exit.
We closed 340, and to throw the number out there, I think we walked away with like a clean 81 grand or something.
That was a good flip. That was a very good flip.
Let's go over here. Richard had mentioned on that deal in North Miami Beach, an attorney. And this goes back to Miami, and real estate is a very, very small world. So when I hear the name that was mentioned, my curiosity got piqued right away. So she shares the name, and then I go, is it so-and-so?
Okay.
And he goes, actually, yes, it is. And then I was like, wow. All right, so let's rewind back a little bit. Let's remember this attorney is helping us with this defense on this foreclosure case.
Yeah, basically this attorney works with the person that's gig is the foreclosure auction, because you do need an attorney for that. So they work together. And this attorney is, basically following the motions for us to get possession of the property, helping us with the eviction, stuff like that.
Yeah. So when I saw the name, I started to piece some pieces together, and I reached out to a close friend of mine. He had bought a property. He had fallen behind on payments, and he was facing foreclosure. He was a friend of mine, and he was just telling me the story. And then this friend of mine, he had hired an attorney to fix the situation because he was about to lose his property, and he was very behind on his mortgage. So he hired an attorney, and lo and behold, who was the attorney that was helping him? I'll let you piece the pieces together. Now, so the same attorney that was trying to help us fight on this end to gain possession of the house, on the other end, he's helping
others save their home.
Save their house.
Yeah.
Little bit unethical. Well, we long story short, the property in North Miami Beach did end up going through successful. Gentleman did help us out on that end. My friend, though, on the other end, ended up losing their house.
But it's funny though so we put two and two together, right? And we go, wait a minute. So this attorney is working with this person on the foreclosure auctions. So this attorney actually knows, like, hey, that person that I'm helping over there.
Yeah, he knows the situation.
They're about to lose their house. That's going to go to foreclosure auction. I can probably get a sneak peek into that.
Yeah, a buddy of mine told me that was kind of the key thing is, what condition is your house in? Is it habitable right now? What more can you tell me? And my buddy went along with it because he didn't know any better.
The thing I remember with your friend was, in conversation between you and I, it came up like, wait a minute, so he's not paying his mortgage, but he has to pay the attorney something every month or something like that. What is the attorney's motivation to get that loan mod done or whatever? I don't see any motivation because he's collecting money every month. Yeah, why would he?
That program that he was running was designed, you stop paying your mortgage company, but you pay me. And I'm just going to kick the can down the road as much as they can.
So both things began to look weird. Like, wait, this guy's playing both sides of the fence.
Both sides of the fence.
Hey, you know what? Maybe there's a way to do it ethically and cleanly. Maybe there is. But, man, my favorite part was, remember when we called him out on it?
We eventually arranged a luncheon with him where we went to eat with him. And him and I knew what we were going to do all along. We were going to just, hey, look, listen, what do you got to tell us about this? So when I mentioned the name of it was the name of the office, the address, and the person, my friend, I wish I had recorded the guy's face.
Oh, my God.
The guy went blank.
I think he literally shrunk.
He literally shrunk. Like he was scared of me. I'm bigger than the guy. And he looked at me like he thought I was going to yank his neck off.
You remember what his words were?
Oh, tell me.
I remember. So literally the guy was sitting in a chair and he shrunk. And the words out of his mouth were, oh my God, this is going to get really weird now.
Yes. That's exactly what he said.
And
oh my God. And I was like, no, relax.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. It's all good. But that was a very interesting story because what that guy was doing was messed up. That was completely unethical. He basically knew what properties were going into foreclosure, had complete sneak peeks, access, knew what they were, so he can literally tell the other gentleman, hey, you're going to want to bid on property XYZ because that one's in great condition. They're going to be losing their home. That's the thing that must only happen in Miami. That's crazy.
That's a nutshell. That's why they tell you that this game is a mafia. Father used to always say that.
Yes.
That the foreclosure auction steps, real estate, and honestly, folks, if you don't align yourself with the right people, you will be torn to shreds. Now we are in West Little River. We are ending of 2016. So at that point in time, we took on another flip right before we were waiting on the property that we just had mentioned that we with the foreclosure auction steps. So this was a property that I remember. It was legally a 2-1, illegally converted into a 3-2. So it had a violation for an illegal addition.
Yeah, we didn't even flinch because
we didn't even flinch.
We didn't know better.
We didn't know better. We said, oh, okay, the numbers look interesting. We should be able to figure it out. It's not a big deal. is what my realtor buddy told me at that time. So we had purchased it, I believe it was at about 103. And comps at that time were about like 165, 170. We're getting a little better, but it wasn't the ideal one. So we find it. It has an illegal addition, and we're told to fix it by an architect that we were put in touch with. And how did that process go of us trying to fix it?
Right. So, I'll repeat it again for the millionth time. Who you work with is extremely important. So you have architects that are going to be able to build you a beautiful home in Pinecrest, a 5.3 of 5,000 square feet. That's what they do. You don't use those architects for the issue that we're going to discuss now, which is basically what we did because that's what we were told to do. So we bring this to him and basically, okay, the violation was, I can't believe we bought this house, but
No.
The violation was that half the house was an illegal addition. But here's the kicker. We're not talking about pitch roof followed by flat roof, which again, in theory, you can just probably demo that and still be left with the house. No, the entire house was a pitch roof. So let's think about that. If the entire house is a pitched roof, which means like a roof that's like this, how am I going to demo half the house?
Yeah.
So we bring the architect on board. He starts, it was expensive too.
Very expensive.
Starts drawing up plans. And then part of the process by the book for legalization is, especially when it's an addition, you have to go knock on all the surrounding neighbors for their approval.
Yeah.
So one day, you and I get together. We have the pretty little form in our hands and we start knocking on doors, asking for signatures because we want to legalize this addition and we need your help. I'll leave it to you guys to think how that went.
Yeah, it didn't go very good. All we did was sweat bullets and that was it. But that you mentioned that, and we go back to the not a waste of time. You remember while we were walking the properties, it hit us, look at all these chain link fences. This was one of our first deals. Yeah. And we were in the head, I think at that time, of Durafence, because we had done Durafence at 741. So we saw that and we're like, oh, we can get by with a chain link fence. So that was good.
That's simple point, but very important. We grew up in Kendall. There's no chain link fences in Kendall.
Mm-mm.
It's all wooden fences because that's just the way it is.
It's just what we
that's what we used to. These houses are not for us to live in. So identifying that, and in that, I still remember walking around Little River asking for signatures. We identified, no, this is the area. We're okay with this. It's perfectly fine. And we can go into that with other deals. Is over improvement is the biggest way a new flipper will lose money. You're not designing this house to live for your own. So you don't need tile floor throughout. You don't need, high-end fancy finishes. If it's a first-time home buyer home, you do it as such and you stay within budget. You're going to go to $1 million. That's a different story. So anyways, no luck with the signatures. So I think at that point we had to let that architect go.
Yeah, let the architect go.
All right. So we let him go.
Probably about like $3,500, $4,000.
He accomplished nothing.
Nothing.
And then I think we went to look for one of those permitting fixing places.
Oh, we went to look for a permitting fixing place, and that was another $1,500.
Yes.
And they drew up pretty plans, and their idea was to, let's just demolish half the house.
At this point, we're beginning to learn now. And this is why everything that happens, it happens for you, so you can learn. So to everybody out there is, this lesson cost us a lot of time and money. Now we can fix these things with our eyes closed. We've been blessed to learn how to do it, so now we don't make the same mistakes again. So you go to that place, they drop a pretty little plan, and I remember getting that email, and I look at the email and I go, look at these plans, I go, wait, there's nothing in the rear part of the house. So I call them, and I tell them, hey, what I'm looking at here is that you're asking me to eliminate every single plumbing outlet, electrical, everything in the back portion of the house. And their response was yes. So then I told them, okay, so you're saying to eliminate it, get the violation clear, then just put it back afterwards. Oh, but you got to call us again.
Yeah, more plans.
More plans. To put all that back legally. So at that point I realized, wait, no, not to put it back legally, to put it back your way. Because that's how these companies make money. These permit fixers, that they're not there. I mean, yeah, they're going to help you, but they're going to make it as complicated as possible and as expensive as possible to solve the issue. We've dealt with a lot of homeowners where we walk in to work on a property that has an existing violation, and when we get info, we see how they're taken to the cleaners.
Yep.
So we discarded that option.
No go.
No go. And then we went to option number 3, which in hindsight is insane, but
Yeah,
But
learn from us. So at this point, what we decided is I went directly to the county on Coral Way. And I just made sure to wear a blue shirt, have a big smile on, and essentially say, hey, Mr., if you've done the game, you know the name. Can you please help us? He looks at the plans. He goes, okay, I'll go see it. I'll see you Saturday morning. Saturday morning at 7:30. He ends up meeting me at the property. Now, pause. If you've done this before, you know you don't want the county in your house. This gentleman went to the house, walked to the back, walked the house with me. My heart's going like this because now we're already probably getting closer to about 9-10 months into this. And by the grace of God,
oh yeah,
he signed off on it. Clean title.
No, but
Everything was
let's
away.
explain how we did it though. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I remember. So he walks the house. I wasn't there, but you told me. And he goes, okay, open up the carport. And I think the last thing he said was pull
That's right, open up the carport.
pull a permit for a water heater. That's what he said. And then I think we asked him afterwards, okay, but you need plans for the rest of the house to legalize the addition and stuff like that. And his exact words were, did I mention anything about plans?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm telling you exactly what to do.
Yeah, it got a little fierce at that point.
Open up the carport, send me a picture, and then pull a permit for a water heater. I go, there's no way. So we open up the carport, send him a picture. The permit for the water heater. Done. That's not very difficult. Violation closed.
That was it. We ended up flipping that for, it was
198.
198.
Yeah.
198. And in that case, we left money on the table.
And that, well, yes. And one couple things with that property that was interesting was it really didn't need anything. The bathrooms were already remodeled.
Yep.
The kitchen was already remodeled. Even the flooring was in.
Yep.
I think it was 2 prior investors went through this one.
And they could, yeah,
That's why it traded for the same price twice. And then we were the third buyer for it. They couldn't solve it.
they couldn't. No.
And but it wasn't us. God literally walked us to that.
We were
and
guided
took care
the
of
right
it.
way, yeah,
Because
for sure.
because I share this story now, and like you
Makes
said,
no sense.
You're not inviting a county inspector to come to your house,
come
and
to my
walk,
house.
and walk around.
Show me the bad, I'll show you the bad work, sir.
But it got done. That was around Christmas time, I remember. Multiple offers, 3-2 on Little River for, I think we were asking for like 190. But this is where we left money on the table. We got an offer for 220 because that specific buyer was approved for 220. We didn't know. We were still learning the game. And in our mind, it was like, oh, this is never going to appraise for 220. Why would I ever even take this offer? So we just took the 190 because we knew they would appraise for 190. Don't do that, guys.
Looking back on it now.
Give yourselves a shot to get to 220. Maybe you're going to get 210. Maybe you'll get 205. But you don't know what appraiser is going to show up. You don't know what comps he may use. At the end of the day, an appraisal is an opinion of value. So give yourself a shot for the highest number.
Give yourself a shot. Go up to bat.
You had nothing to lose. Go up to bat. If you missed a shot, you missed a shot. Whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get your 190.
And it goes back to confidence and trusting your product and saying to yourself, look, I have a remodeled house at this price point. It's going to move. Now, as we've gotten more experience, that's exactly what's happened. We find something, we price it correctly, it always moves and we get our number.
Oh, yeah. No, we've had a very good success rate with our flips. So that was a fun one to share. We learned a ton with that one. And that's what it's really about. It's just, never getting discouraged, keeping your head up.
Yep.
And that's it. And just moving forward to the next one.
Super excited now. We're going to wrap this up. This is episode 1. Please, if you're out there, like, comment, share. I want to hear feedback. We really want to hear feedback from our people out there to know what you guys want to hear about. What do you care to learn? Because this is for you. We're here to provide value. We're going to share with you our obstacles, our lessons, our blessings, but I also want to hear from you to know exactly what are you going through out there? What are the roadblocks you're facing? Because if you're facing it, there's a chance that maybe we faced it, or there's somebody else there that's faced it and encountered it.
We're going to catch you up on all the deals that we've done. These are just our flips, our wholesale deals.
Those are fun.
Those are fun. We're going to look forward to bringing people on that have been part of this. We don't do this by ourselves.
Not at all.
So we look forward to bringing everyone that's helped us, that's blessed us. And, it'll be fun. It'll be a cool little reality TV show. Reach out to us, guys. We're very accessible. Reach out to us on IG. RCJB Properties on IG. Drop us a comment, guys, whatever it is that you need. Again, we're here to work together. Obviously, send us your deals. Realtors, we love you guys.
You need something to move.
Send us your deals.
You need some, guidance. Please, guys, reach out to us.
We're working on a course as well that we're super excited to pump out there. So we're all about providing value and paying it forward. So look forward to interacting with you guys.
Keep it locked, folks.